fed 100 years of World Cup data into an AI, and the result really surprised me. You'll be surprised too. The old-timers, the robots, sat down and processed a century's worth of soccer data, and they told us winning the World Cup is nearly impossible. Hey guys! The robots processed 100 years of World Cup data and said winning the trophy is almost impossible. Give it a quick like so I can at least cover tonight's dinner. Let's get started. Boomers, since 1930, exactly 22 World Cups have been played. 210 nations fought for the trophy, but do you know how many actually lifted it? That's only 3.8% of all FIFA nations. Brazil, Italy, Germany, Argentina, France, Uruguay, England, and Spain. This club is the true face of football. And here comes the part that should genuinely embarrass favorites. The #1 pre-tournament favorite. The team everyone says, yeah, these guys are winning it about, statistically only wins 36% of the time. The hyped up team, the team farming everyone in the groups, loses more than it wins. Remember 1950? You probably don't because we were all vitamins back then. Brazil, home soil, massive favorites, completely destroyed by Uruguay, the original NPC moment of World Cup history. But wait, you know what the most shocking part is? Not the history, the mathematical side of it. And lads, the numbers are brutal. All right. 2026 World Cup. New format. They increased it from 32 to 48 teams. More teams, more football, more drama. Sounds great, right? But for your country's chances of winning, this is a nerf. A massive nerf. Let me explain. 32 team World Cup. Every nation had a 3.1% chance of winning. 48 Team World Cup. That drops to 2.08%. Do the maths yourselves. Winning the new World Cup is literally 50% harder than the old format. 50% harder. Classic FIFA, honestly. And remember, this is the equal scenario. In reality, Argentina, Brazil, France, they're running higher stats. But even they, the real goats of international football, still have hilariously low, embarrassingly low real winning probabilities. If you think being the favorite means anything in this tournament, you genuinely don't understand football. All right, let's build the strongest possible national team. On paper, beast mode, group stage, 90% chance to qualify, round of 16, 80%, quarterfinals, 80%, semifinals, 70%, final, 70%. This team is favorite in every match. Sounds like an easy title, right? Multiply it all together. That super team's chance of winning, 18%. Out of 100 World Cups, they'd only win 18, meaning in the 22 World Cups we've had, they'd only win 4 times, like Germany or Italy. By the way, if you're wondering who's going to win the 2026 World Cup, there's a video explaining that exactly. Links in the description. Go watch it after this, or the algorithm bots are going to deprecate my channel and I'll be streaming to 0 viewers. Your choice. Now, lads, how does the World Cup compare to other tournaments? Because some of you are definitely going to comment, Champions League is harder. Every single video, you people are that predictable. So let's actually solve this with data, all right? Equal team scenario. World Cup 2.08%, Euros 4.17%, Copa America 6.25%. The World Cup is mathematically twice as difficult as the Euros and 3 times harder than Copa America. But what about the Champions League? New format, 36 clubs, equal odds. Every club has a 2.78% chance per season, almost identical to the World Cup. But here's what you forgot. A player might get 20 Champions League seasons in their career, but only 5 World Cups. 5, that's it. Once you zoom out, the maths completely flips upside down. Career odds of winning at least 1 Champions League, 43%. Career odds of winning at least 1 World Cup, 10%. Under equal conditions, you are 4 times more likely to win a Champions League in your career than a World Cup. 4 times. And that is exactly why absolute giants like Maldini, Ronaldo, and Cruyff stacked Champions League trophies but never touched a World Cup. This isn't a lack of quality, it's just mathematics. But now we get to the important part. By the way, if you're wondering who's gonna win the 2026 World Cup, there's a video explaining that exactly. Links in the description. Go watch it after this, or the algorithm bots are going to deprecate my channel and I'll be streaming to 0 viewers. Your choice. Since the World Cup began, 21 teams got the chance to defend their title. How many succeeded? Sit down for this one, lads. 2. Italy in 1938. Brazil in 1962. That's a 9.5% success rate. 90% of World Cup champions failed to defend their title. Brazil won in 70, 94, and 2002. But after every single one of those wins, they failed to defend it in the next tournament. Germany won in 74, 90, and 2014. Same story. Immediately dethroned next tournament. Argentina won in 78 and 86 and failed to repeat both times. And France won in 98, won again in 2018, failed to retain it in both 2002 and 2022. The greatest nations in football history win the trophy and immediately drop it. Why? Not tactics, not luck, not coaching decisions. The mathematics of football makes back-to-back victories structurally almost impossible. You're basically trying to speed run the same impossible probability twice in a row, and the game resets every time. While you're here, the subscribe button's right there. One tap costs you nothing, which is a better probability than winning the World Cup. Dun, 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 dun. Now let's talk players. This is where things become genuinely ridiculous. More than 60,000 footballers have represented their national team throughout history. Out of those 60,000, only 8,500 actually played in a World Cup. That's just 14.2%. Roughly 1 in every 7 international footballers even gets to step onto a World Cup pitch. But it gets even crazier. Out of those 8,500 World Cup players, only 470 became world champions. That's 5.5% of World Cup players. Truly lucky humans. Now, 2 World Cups. The rarest of the rare. Only 21 players in football history achieved it. That's 0.25% of World Cup players. 0.035% of 60,000 internationals. Cafu, Garrincha, Ronaldo, Nazario, Passarella, absolute fathers of the game who hit the same giant lottery twice in a row. And then, above all of them, there's one single name. You already know who I'm talking about. You knew it since the beginning of the video, and I'm still gonna make you wait a little longer. Out of 60,000 internationals, out of 8,500 World Cup players, out of 470 champions, only one person won 3 World Cups. Pelé. That represents 0.0017% of all footballers who ever wore a national jersey. That's not a typo. 0.0017%. Winning 1 World Cup puts you in the highest tier of football history. Winning 2 makes you unforgettable, but winning 3 in nearly 100 years of football, that makes you untouchable. Dun, 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 dun. The waiting room of new champions. Let's talk about the waiting room, because winning the World Cup isn't just difficult. Even entering the winners club for the first time is difficult. Uruguay opened the account in 1930. Italy followed 4 years later. All right, quick enough. But then Germany had to suffer for 24 years, Brazil 28, England suffered for 36 years, Argentina 48, France 68 years, and Spain, exactly 80 years after the first World Cup, finally arrived and won it in 2010. The average wait between new World Cup champions is 11.4 years. Since Spain in 2010, 16 years have passed, and there still hasn't been a new champion. The list is basically locked, and historically, when a World Cup begins, previous winners reclaiming the trophy is twice as likely as a brand new nation winning it for the first time. Dun, 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 dun. Here's the answer. In a 48-team World Cup, even if all teams are equal, statistically, it would take about 50 World Cups to see a champion. That's almost 200 years. Even a team with a 5% chance of winning would have to wait about 80 years. Even a team with a 20% chance of winning would take an average of 20 years to win a championship. That's why legends like Cruyff, Maldini, Puskas, and Ronaldo never won the World Cup. It's not because they weren't great, it's because football is a brutal mathematics. It's not enough to just be the best. You need the perfect moment, perfect form, luck, health, refereeing, and God's help. Even Brazil, the greatest nation in World Cup history, has won 5 championships but lost 17. Even the greatest team in history loses most of the time. Think about it, Lions. Dun, 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 dun. The World Cup isn't just the hardest thing in football, it's probably the hardest achievement in all of team sports. Period. No debate. The data said it. I didn't invent these numbers out of nowhere. I'm just a guy with a 2D Ronaldo avatar running the calculations for you. You're welcome. Lion Cubs, subscribe, like, and remember your team also has a mathematical chance. It's just probably a very, very small one. See you.